First, the standard deduction for salaried employees is proposed to be increased. The tax rate structure is proposed to be revised.
Given a wide acceptance among taxpayers and the government's push for a simplified personal tax regime, the finance minister announced more incentives to taxpayers to switch from the old to the new simplified regime. But how do you decide which tax regime will suit you now? To make it really simple for taxpayers, what is the one number that can be the deciding factor between the old and the new tax regime? Hello and welcome to our channel 5 Minute Finance by ET Money, where we talk about the basics of investing and personal finance. So in this quick video, we are going to see which regime, old versus new simplified, is better for you. Now, we won't cover the FM's announcements and what all changed for your finances in this video. For details on how budget impacts your finances, you may watch our other detailed video. The link is in the description. So let's begin right away. We did the income tax calculations both under the old and the simplified new tax regime for different income levels with an idea to figure out which one saves more tax for taxpayers. Well, this selection depends on the deductions that you will be eligible to claim. It will decide whether you should go for the old regime or the new simplified regime. Now here you must know that while the old tax regime allows you various deductions under different sections, with the most popular being section 80C and section 80D, new tax regime does not allow these deductions. However, the standard deduction under both the regimes is allowed. But the old tax regime allows a lower standard deduction of 50,000 rupees and the proposed increased value of standard deduction under the new tax regime is 75,000 rupees. Now, look at the table on your screens. I'll keep explaining it, so listen carefully from here on. Also, on your screen are the tax rates under the old and simplified new tax regime in case you would want to refer to them. So, the left column shows the different income levels and the right column shows hurdle tax deduction. Now, the hurdle tax deduction here is the break-even amount of deductions where the income tax to be paid by a taxpayer remains same under both the old and the new regime. Now, to put it in one line, if you are eligible to claim tax deductions more than the hurdle tax deductions amount on your screen, go for the old tax regime. And if you are eligible for lower tax deductions than the hurdle amount, you will be better off with the new simplified tax regime. So this table is important. Now coming to the first income slab. If your income level is up to 7,75,000 rupees, you will not have to pay any tax under the new regime thanks to the higher standard deduction of 75,000 rupees announced in the budget 2024. So if your total income level is up to 7,75,000 rupees, just opt for the simplified new tax regime. Now to understand the tax regime choice for higher income tax brackets, let's meet Mr. Sahu. So Mr. Sahu earns a salary of 14 lakh rupees. He is eligible to avail several deductions under the old tax regime like under section 80C for 1.5 lakh rupees. Deduction for medical insurance under section 80D worth 37,500 for self and parents. He also has an outstanding home loan, so he can claim deduction for interest on home loan for 2 lakh rupees. Now, adding standard deduction of 50,000 under the old tax regime. So, total deductions for Mr. Sahu under the old tax regime comes out to be 4,37,000 rupees. And his taxable income comes out to be 9,62,000 rupees. So, his tax liability becomes 1,09,200 rupees. Coming to the simplified new tax regime. So, after deducting the increased standard deduction of 75,000 rupees, from 14 lakh salary, we get 13,25,000 rupees. Here also, the tax liability comes to the same 1,09,200 rupees. So, only if Mr. Sahu is able to claim higher deductions, he would be better off with the old tax regime. Otherwise, the simplified new tax regime will save him more taxes. Essentially, if you are a salaried employee and you are not claiming a hefty house rent allowance or home loan interest deduction of up to 2 lakh rupees, simplified new tax regime would be a better choice for you. Hope this crisp video will help you pick the right income tax regime for you. And it's a wrap. Do share it with others to help them with the decision of tax regime as well.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.